Hello, my friends. Welcome to Together Run 99. I thought 100 was going to be in New York, but I've been back from New York and then back to New York and back from New York, and I still didn't even get 99 in. I'll explain that to you in a minute. First off, I want you to begin by touching some element of nature. It is a beautiful day here in St. Louis. You can hear the crunch of the leaves. I am touching tree bark, as I like to do. Are we ready to go begin? Oh, no, my GPS watch isn't loaded. I'm going to give that a few seconds and then we're going to go for a run. And I'll explain to you all the absolute craziness that has been going on in 3, 2, and 1. We'll get to our body scan in just a minute. But first, I just want to give you... Oh God, there's so much to say. So much to say. One thing I do want to say before we begin the grounding work, and then we'll move into the conversation piece, is I have had running opportunities where I could have done together runs over the last 2 weeks. But I'll be honest, I really needed those times for myself to just be connected with my surroundings, to just have time by myself. And I knew you would understand, because while I know you enjoy together runs and appreciate together runs, it's a lot. The last few weeks have been a lot, and I just felt like I needed something preserved that was more intimate, because the last few weeks, as you may or may not know, have very much been public facing, and I just wanted something that wasn't, and that's a strange place for me to be in. I haven't kind of hit that capacity before, but I did the last few weeks, and I will explain everything to you about the Today Show yesterday. As I'm recording this, yesterday was the Today Show. And I also want to take some time to reflect on the rest of what's been going on the last few weeks. But first we want to begin our meditative elements. So we're going to go ahead and do our body scan. So if this is your first together run, we are going to do a scan from our head to our toes, and I'm going to call out various body parts, and you just need to check in with those areas. Just be present and see how you feel as we work our way down. And this is not supposed to be judgmental towards your body. It's just noticing and being aware in a way that we don't typically do. You ready? Starting from the top of your head, working your way down, looking down into your eyes, checking in that they're not scrunched, not holding on to any tension or tight. As you continue on down into your nose and mouth, make sure that jaw is not clenched or tight, holding on to tension there either. As you continue on down through the front of the neck and the back of the neck, going into the tops of your shoulders, and down your arms and the upper arm, around the elbow, into the lower arm, into your wrist and hand, and into your fingers. As you come on back to your torso, checking in with your chest, and going into your stomach and lower back. As we move down through the hips and pelvis, seeing this as like a light traveling through you covering every part of you. Continuing on down into the quads, around the back for the hamstrings, down through the back of your knee and the front of your knee, into your calf and shin. Continuing on into your inner ankle and outer ankle, down into the heel, and then checking in with your arch, the top of your foot, the toes, and the ball of your foot in the wrong order. And just take a moment to reflect. How's your body feel? Okay. For me, I actually feel pretty decent right now. I thought I would feel stiff and heavy and tired. I feel pretty good. Things are moving well. Have a slight feel of my Achilles, which is, nothing to be alarmed at. Still working my way through this. Doing 26.2 miles when you haven't done more than 10 in months is gonna be making it, linger a little bit longer, but the pain hasn't increased, so I'm cleared to keep going. Okay, and next we're gonna do our senses check-in with our five primary senses. And so I want you to begin as deep as you can for running. Recognize it's not truly going to be a deep breath. I want you to take 3 deep breaths in your own time. So go ahead and do that now. What do you smell? Smell leaves. I guess it's probably the rotting smell of leaves. It is truly the full smell, but I also smell a bit of woodwork, a smell that reminds me of woodwork class from when I was in school. Whatever that's about, not sure. Could just be part of the full smell. Okay. What do you taste? I may or may not have eaten a Reese's peanut butter cup as I was heading out the door. So I may or may not taste that. Yes, I have no shame in saying that. I did. And it was good. Okay, next. I'm going to be present in our ears. I want you to take 45 seconds or so. Just be present in your surroundings. What is it that you hear? Few more seconds. Okay. What did you hear in your surroundings? What did you notice that you typically wouldn't? I noticed the sounds of the leaves, although I definitely would notice those this time of year. I love it. I noticed the children playing and the background noise of a lawnmower or leaf blower, I'm not sure, probably leaf blower, which I don't honestly understand the point of, other than maybe to get leaves out of drains. I don't really understand why people rake the leaves and collect them up. But yeah, okay. Next, we are going on to our sense of touch. Uh-oh. I hope I'm not headed towards what I think I'm headed towards, in which case you're going to hear me start crying again. Oh no, it is. Oh, another big beautiful tree on its way down. Oh, sorry, tree. You're beautiful. Well, I need to remind myself that maybe that tree is dead. I don't know the circumstance, but it still feels like that noise, I hate it so much. Still feels like a knife in me every time I see it or hear it. Okay, I'm gonna adjust my route because I don't want to go back past that. Okay, so we are going to go into a sense of touch, tactile, what you feel, as in the way your body is interacting with the outside world around you. I want you to take it in, notice where your attention is being drawn, let it jump around if that feels right, or if it settles on one place, that's okay too. Let's go ahead and do that now. Absolutely not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So I'm going past it on a different street, but it sounds just as loud. You continue on with what you feel. I'll do it afterwards when we're reflecting. I need to touch a tree to bounce myself back out. Okay. A few more seconds. Okay. What did you feel? Where was your attention being drawn? Is that something you would have, anticipated you'd be drawn to, or was it kind of a surprise? Oh, bad timing with this traffic. For me, I feel my sports bra on the seam of it on my skin. No irritation, just feel it. I feel my watch a little too tight on my wrist. I feel my heel easing off the discomfort, and I feel my hand trying to hold the phone differently, so I really feel like I'm close to needing physical therapy on my little finger. It's been bothering me a lot lately, and I think that's because of holding the phone with my little finger on the base to rest my phone on, or in the case of these together runs, to just hold it more secure. And it's been hurting, and honestly had some loss of feeling in it at times as well. I think part of that is just being a woman, and phones are not made for smaller hands, but also laziness on my part. So trying to be conscious, and so it feels different and tighter on my hand. Okay, and finally we're going to check with our visual, eyes, sight, and I'll ask you, what do you see? Take in your surroundings now. Few more seconds. As always, try and take in some kind of detail that you wouldn't otherwise take in, as if you're taking a mental snapshot. If you haven't done that already, go ahead and do that now. Okay, what did you see? For me, I see winter is upon us, through the many of the leaves down, many of the leaves brown, and some still in their beautiful, primarily red, but some yellow and orange colours around. I see a few clouds off in the distance and leaves blowing around, doing the little dance as they run along. It's a beautiful day today. Okay, right friends, that's our surroundings physical check-in complete. Next, we're going to do our mental health check-in. So, I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to answer it in your own head, or what you would say to me if you felt comfortable, if we're running together, or just reflect on it within your own self of what you are going through and what's coming up for you, and we'll check back in about 2 minutes. So friends, how are you? Really? If you've drifted off, gently bring yourself back. How are you? Really? A few more seconds. Okay, thank you for reflecting with me on how you're doing. I appreciate that, and you appreciate that, because there's something we just don't do enough of. So, how am I really? I am overwhelmed. The last few weeks have been a lot. And I think I'm actually going to share the Today Show experience the past week on a separate podcast episode, because while I can talk and run, I really want to be able to speak as freely as I can, and with the added element of running, I can't quite get to do that in the way I'd like. So I'm now feeling a bit like I am disappointing you, and you're like, no, I was really looking forward to that. And yeah, so that's some things. Also just feeling fulfilled from the last few weeks, and the experiences of a lifetime that I have been able to have, going on the Today Show. The NYPD just treated Kayleigh to this incredible experience and tour, to meeting some amazing people and seeing the reaction around Kayleigh. I feel very fulfilled and proud. But yeah, I also feel very, like, a bit dried up. Kind of, I've given a lot of what I have, and I need some rest and rejuvenation. I am planning on, when I go home for most of the month of December, I plan on not doing work and really disconnecting, which I need. And yes, probably should be sooner than that, but I do have other obligations that I need to do first, and so I have it planned down, and I want to follow through with that. But I feel tired. I guess tired but fulfilled would be the words to use. Maybe a bit overstimulated, like a child. So yeah, okay. It's actually one of the lesser amounts of things I've said, isn't it, on a Together Run? For that question. But that's the reality right now, and even maybe more of a reminder why I shouldn't be sharing it all right now and doing it from the comfort of my office at a pace that feels right. That's not determined by hills and thinking of which direction to go in. Okay, right friends, so we have about 5 minutes until the 30-minute group is going to peel off. And what would be a good, I guess we can give you the space to share your updates at this point. So, since we last did a Together Run, I think the last one I offered was at least 2 weeks ago. What have you been up to? What have you been working through? I just want you to reflect on what's been going on in your world since we last ran together. What would you share? And remember, if it's your first time of us running together, what would you share about who you are if we were running alongside one another? And I just said, tell me a bit about you. What would you say? Off you go. If you've wandered off, gently bring yourself back. A little bit more time. Okay, finishing up your thought. Thank you for sharing. If you want to share that with me after your run, I'd love to see a photo of you. Many of you tell me you thought about taking a photo but decided not to, or not to send it. Go ahead, share it, or send it to me. I'd love to see. I always love hearing that you're joining me, because otherwise I'm just out here on my own, right? These are called Together Runs. I give to you through the hosting this, but I want you there beside me. I want to know you're there beside me, because I know you're not the kind of person to ghost me or just run next to me and not say a word. So show me you. Doesn't matter what you look like. Doesn't matter how boring your surroundings are. I just want to see you. Okay. One quick note on that. I don't know why that just reminded me. Again, I've said this before. If you have read Becoming a Sustainable Runner or are reading and can leave a review on Amazon, that means the world. It's so helpful. And it just allows us to get more out there. So if you can, there'll be a link in the show notes for this episode for you to go do that. And I'd really, really appreciate it. Okay, so we have 20 seconds till the 30-minute group is going to come to a walk. The rest of us will keep on moving, and we will do 2 strides in about 30 seconds from now. So 30-minute group walk. We're going to do 2 times 10 to 15 seconds of about 80% of your max. I'm actually going to do them with you today for the first time in many months. I'm going to do them with you. Going about 80% of what your max sprint would be. You're not trying to take bigger steps. You're trying to take more steps so that you increase your cadence. Okay, are we ready? In 3, 2, and 1, off you go. Come to a jog or a walk. We're going to take about another 30 seconds. We'll do one more. And then 30-minute group. You can be on your way. If you don't know what becoming a sustainable runner is, it's my book. I think you would really like it. If the messaging speaks to you of you not feeling comfortable sharing your picture, especially you, if you are someone who really wants a BQ, especially you, if you are someone who is trying so hard to reach a goal and you never quite get there for one reason or another, especially you. And if you are feeling like you want to be more environmentally conscious but don't want to be shamed for not doing it well enough, it's definitely for you too. So you can find it in all the major retailers and links in the show notes. Ready? Another stride. 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Come to a jog or a walk. 30-minute group. Thank you so much for joining. I will see you hopefully next week, but we'll see. For 100. Isn't that exciting? For the rest of us, we got about 12 minutes before our next set of strides, before the 45-minute group peel off. And so I'm going to begin the difficult task of recounting. I'm going to start from the day before the marathon and going backwards, as in further away from this date. What have I been up to? As I said, the Today Show and New York City Marathon with Kayleigh Williamson, which I'm sure you've seen the viral video of. It's last time I saw or heard the original video on the New York City Marathon page had like 36 million views. 36 million. Over 2 million likes. I think there's like 150,000 comments or something. And then that's just the original. There have been so many other ones made afterwards. I would guess we're probably at 60, 70 million by now. So, I'm sure you've seen it. I am the person hugging Kayleigh in the video. And I'll share about that experience as a regular Friday episode, probably. I don't know when for sure I'm going to release this, but it'll be this Friday oh God, I don't know what day it is today. Is it the 12th today? Friday. 15th, 16th, 17th. I literally don't know what date it is. Actually, I know Monday is the 20th. So 19 would be Sunday. 18 would be Saturday, so the 17th. So go listen to that. Okay. So I'm going to start before that. Okay, so the day before the marathon, I hosted a plogging event in New York from New York Roadrunners. Plogging is picking up trash while running, and we had more than double the amount of people show up this year. It was huge. We were so excited for kind of the group of people we had. I had two of my best friends there in Ryan Montgomery and Jake Fedorisky. Margaret Spring as well, very close, and other amazing friends. Many of you, just appreciate you so much being there, showing up. And you know, I am well aware that people could have been spending their Saturday before the race doing any number of shakeouts that were available, but people chose to come pick up trash from the New York streets, and that says something. And it was just amazing. We picked up a lot, as you can imagine, in New York. We had meaningful conversations. We inspired other people. I think it's best summed up by a kid who the director of operations for the Chicago Marathon came to the event, Greg, and did it with us. And he overheard a little kid saying to his parents, "Those are some great people." And I think that just kind of sums it up, right? They truly were great people, all of them. And so that was really powerful and meaningful to me. And then, what else? Athletic Greens on that weekend. I honestly don't know what I would have done without them. They took care of me in the biggest way. They put me up in my favorite hotel of my life, the One Hotel. I've never stayed there, and I am forever ruined because it was just me in a hotel. And it was, gave me so much hope and inspiration for what a hotel could be in the future. But not only that, they gave me nourishing meals. They gave me opportunities to slow down and talk to other people who are doing amazing work in the community. They took care not only of myself, but also of Ryan, who was staying with me. And they treated me to a spa day after the marathon, which, I mean, with all that I gave on that day, there couldn't have been anything better for me than that. And they didn't expect anything from me whatsoever. There was no strings attached. And honestly, I was so stretched thin that weekend that I can't imagine what state I would have been in if they hadn't given me these easy opportunities to slow down and put my legs in Normatec boots or rest in a hotel that felt like it matched me and my heart. It was beautiful. Okay, going backwards more. On the Friday, went to a run with Tracksmith, which was lovely, with lots of friends. Always enjoy their runs. And then on Friday actually, I also went out with 3 of my gay best friends to a gay bar, and it was so fun. I mean, I felt so free and I was just on cloud nine. I had 3 people I love around me, and I could just be free. It was the best. So then on Thursday I spoke at the expo at the New York City Marathon, and I've got 5 minutes till the 45-minute group comes to a walk. If I get distracted, you just have to walk yourself, and we'll do strides when I notice. I spoke at the New York City Marathon Expo, which was a bucket list item of mine, although now I think about it, I haven't checked that off my bucket list yet, so I need to do that. And then I got to be on a panel about sustainability, which was just amazing that the race prioritized this. We had a great conversation, and there was a lot of people in the audience, which meant a lot. So it was great. And supportive friends came, so appreciated that. And then after that, I went to a dinner, which myself, Christine Yu, author of Up to Speed, and Dr. Abby Bales, a pelvic floor therapist, brought together this just amazing group of women who are community leaders and genuinely believe that a rising tide lifts all boats. We had this quiet space. We talked, we reflected, we were very vulnerable with one another, and it was just a beautiful evening of connection before the craziness began. I think that was kind of it. That's a lot. And in addition to race day, which again you'll hear about another time. One other thing I want to mention, or what was it? I forgot now. I feel like it was something about marathon. Oh, that's a loud noise. Something about marathon day that I will probably forget otherwise. What was it? I don't know. Oh, I don't know. No, not coming to me. Okay, but what I do want to say is beyond that, I've really been trying to be present with my family, because as you probably know, the last few months since the book came out have been a lot, including a lot of travel. And while it's all meaningful and important and change, push forwarding, it's still time away from my family, and that has been hard. And yet another reason I'm looking forward to having that time in England disconnected, but also I'm home for 2 weeks now, and I want to make the most of being home with my girls when they're home, because Chloe's in preschool 2 days a week, so I do feel like I get good on time. I do feel like I get a fair enough amount of time with her, but Bailey is in school 5 days a week, and so the time can be minimal, especially as most of my work stuff is on the weekends. So, yeah. One other side note I want to mention. Again, come to a walk when it's 45 minutes. Give you a little bit of time and then we'll do the strides. I finished Michael Gervais' first book recently. The first rule of mastery is don't let fear of other people's opinions affect you or something. Can't remember the exact title. If you've missed it, Michael Gervais has been on the podcast 3 times in the past. I'm actually going to ask him to come on a 4th once his initial book period goes down, because his book came out a few days ago, and I know the Running for Real podcast isn't high on the priority list when he's trying to go after the 100 million download podcast host, which is fair, but I'm going to ask him. But the first third of the book I felt was a little bit needed a little bit of time to get into, but the second half of the book was absolutely outstanding. And maybe it's because the first half is very much, as an MG super fan, come to a walk if you haven't already. We'll do a stride when I finish saying this. As an MG super fan, I knew a lot of what he was saying in that first half. But the second half, my God, was it powerful. So definitely encourage you to add that book to your Christmas list. In addition, of course, hopefully to becoming a sustainable runner. Or I should say holiday list. Okay, are we ready to do a stride? In 3, 2, and 1. Here you go. Come to a jog or a walk. Or I'll do another one in about 30 seconds. All right, ready? In 3, 2, and 1, off we go. Come to a jog or a walk, 45-minute group. Go ahead and send me your photo of you. I'd love to see who I'm running with, even if you don't share it publicly. And there's also links in the show notes if you want to check those out. Thank you. I'll see you Friday to share the other part of the updates, and hopefully next Monday for a together run. Thank you, friends. I'll see you then. All right, for the rest of us, I want us to do a body scan in your own time, at your own pace, however it feels right to you. So I'm going to give you about a minute. Do not look at your watch. Just roughly. Are you ready? Off you go. Few more seconds. Okay, how's your body feeling now? What did you notice? All right, do you want to tell you about a few other things? Now they've gone out of my head. There's a really pretty tree with all 4 of the main colours in it. That's gorgeous. Actually, I need to take a picture, so I'm going to stop and take one. I encourage you to take one with me. I am stopping my watch for a second, so you should take a picture too. Whew. Yeah, let's take a picture. I'm getting my camera out. Ready. There we go. Whoops. Okay, we're going to go again. 3, 2, and 1. Alright. What was I going to tell you? Beyond... Oh, I know what else. Right before I left for New York, I had an NBC feature done on me, which was very exciting. I didn't really... I don't know if I didn't get it out or it didn't get out, but like, they didn't really get much traction, which was a bit of a bummer. I'll put a link in the show notes so you can go check it out. But yeah, that was a very exciting thing to happen, and they talked about my love of Fern Gully, which you've probably heard me mention before, and just enjoyed seeing something it's basically about the skirt that I wore and how that came together and how I was going to wear it in the marathon, which I did. Again, you'll hear more on that on Friday. Which is, by the way, so funny that that's just like a little asterisk on the side of the story, the skirt, because Kayleigh's so her attention grabs you with her pureness that most people don't even notice I'm wearing trash as a skirt. Right, I am running up a hill. I should have thought about this. I actually haven't done away from my loop in a while because I felt good enough today to actually venture away from my usual spot. But I forgot that this hill to get back is a bit of a steep one. So I'm going to just be quiet for another minute or so while I work my way up this, and then I'll resume. See if you can keep your attention fully on the act and the movement of running during this period. If you wonder, that's okay. Just bring it back. Almost there. Okay. Alright, friends, we've got about 5 minutes until we start our stride. And I guess the one thing I haven't really updated on is my running, where that's at. So while I said at the beginning that I haven't been able to, or I haven't maybe chosen to do together runs as often as I could have, I also haven't been running that much. I've been averaging about 25 to maybe 26, 27 miles a week for the last few months a week. And yes, that is what happened with going into then 26 miles in one go. But keep in mind, Kayleigh took 10 hours and 9 minutes. So, while still an absolute massive risk, and I knew that, it was not as big of a risk as it could have been, because I was walking most of the time. Okay, my running, still coming out the other side of my Haglund's deformity injury / Achilles injury, I religiously did my exercises. Was very proud of that. I don't think I've ever committed to a rehab program like I did with this. I've also never had an injury as debilitating as this. But also, just to prove to you I'm still human, even though I did that religiously, I'll be honest, since leaving for New York, I haven't done my exercises once. And I was given the all clear to go down to 1 to 2 times a week, but I've probably missed 5 times I should have done it, at least, at this point. And so, while I'm proud of that, I'm still, I know I'm playing a dangerous game. And, I'm going to say to myself, I'll do it today, which today is a day I should be doing it. And I hope I will. But I can't say with 100% certainty that I will. And that makes me mad at myself. But I also know, as I've said, how much I've given and taken on the last few weeks, and most of it not for my own benefit, to protect 2 of my dear friends. But so of course some things are going to drop, and so I actually am giving myself grace for that. But yeah, it's been very frustrating. I haven't run this little since I was 15, so that's 20 years since I've run this little on repeat. And surprisingly, I've handled it well, actually. Hasn't really bothered me that much. Maybe because it has been such a busy period of work. Maybe because I'm maturing a little bit. Or I don't know, some other reason. But it's been sad. I've missed out a lot. And I really, really miss running on the trails for hours on end. Well, not on end, but I miss a solid 2 to 3 hour run in the trails. And so that's kind of what I'm focusing on, is getting back to that. I did run 7 miles 2 days in a row on the trails while crewing Ryan Montgomery in his 3rd place finish at Javelina, which, yes, was I was going to do the 100k at that race. And I didn't feel sad, actually, that I wasn't there, which was another thing I was proud of, that I felt pride and excitement for Ryan and for my friend Rachel. So yeah, running has actually been a friend, but not someone I've relied on for my happiness, which is an interesting place to be. All right, friends, we are going to do 2 more strides to finish up here. Are you ready? 3, 2, and 1, off we go. Come to a jog. You can jog in between. It'll take about 30-ish seconds, then we'll go again. I want to remind you to share about this together on. Some of you have recently been sharing how comforted you felt for it, and I really appreciated that. And click those links. Where you can thank me is leaving a review on iTunes, purchasing my book, or one of my partners who, like I said with AG, take care of me without ask, or leave a review on Amazon of the book once you've read it. So thank you to those of you who've done that. All right, you ready? 1 more stride. 3, 2, and 1. and come to a jog. Got about 30 seconds, and we're going to finish up by grounding in with nature, finding some element to connect to. If you want to do that while you're running, that's fine. I'm going to do it once I stop. About 15 seconds left. And I want to thank you for joining me today. I really love that you choose to spend your time with me, and I love getting to know you back. So thank you. All right. And walk and find some element of nature to connect with. I'm going to touch these seeds, fluff coming out of this, looks like dead plant. They look like those things in, Fantasia? They're like little fairy puff things that float down, like they got a puffy skirt on. The seeds. Is this Fantasia? I think it is. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you. Be sure to check out the episode on Friday. I'll see you then.